Okay.
So,
Evan, this is our show, not yours.
Kip's gonna stop.
yeah, I just want to say we're super excited as an organization to bring KUMAR ROCKER into the fold. A lot of years scouting the guy, getting around the family, knowing the person, the competitor, and we're super excited to have like a frontline type starter with the Texas Rangers. So with that, I think we'll throw it out to questions unless you have anything to say.
No, it's all right.
How does it feel to break the draft?
I don't speak for what we do. I don't worry about anybody else, Evan. So I don't know if we broke the draft. But.
A year ago, if anybody had told you guys that you could end up with Jack Leiter and KUMAR ROCKER in the system, what would your reaction have been?
Well, I tell you what, that was probably item 1, 2 on my personal list. So I probably thought I would have said it would have been impossible.
Chris?
It's two tremendously talented players, great competitors who've had success at a very high level. I think any organization would be lucky to have two players of that caliber. I'm thrilled that they're both going to be Texas Rangers.
Well, the big,
Go ahead.
the big thing, the shoulder, the elbow, I'm assuming, since you guys took them, that it's all clear with you, but what was that process like?
Well, we're extremely comfortable with the medical review that our team has done, our medical team. Obviously, Kumar has been under the care of one of the leading orthopedic surgeons in the world. And great supervision throughout his rehab. He's been pitching healthy. We're very comfortable with the medical review, and that's why we drafted him.
When did you get comfortable with him? You had to see him again, right?
Well, I think the comfort with Kumar goes back years, and Kip can speak to that in terms of
I've
the
seen him
history.
since he was a young kid in high school and through his Vandy years. Obviously, last year especially when Jack and him were at Vanderbilt together, and seeing him pitch, man, I don't know, I probably saw him pitch 7 times a piece. That group then getting up there and feeling comfortable when he was in Albany. Hope I said that right because I always get chastised in the draft for saying Albany wrong. But up there in the independent league, and felt very comfortable with the stuff. Is actually probably a better version of Kumar right now than there was in college.
When did you guys know that you were going to take him? Because it didn't seem like he was going to be a top 5 guy. So did you know months ago that this was probably going to be your pick?
No, I think this is something that's led up to the even the last few days, even into today to somewhat, just understanding what the board would look like in front of us, who would go in front of us, and assessing how we viewed the draft from there on. And so our team has spent an unbelievable amount of time. We've kept a very open mind. We didn't know what Kumar would look like coming out of surgery. I think he answered a lot of questions. And then in terms of our medical team and the review they were able to do and the advice they were to give us, I think we're very thrilled with this selection tonight.
So I know you guys drafted him like 30 whole minutes ago, but do you have any idea what level you'd like to start him at and if that'll happen this year? Or?
No, we'll take first things first, just getting him in here and conducting a normal physical, and then finalizing a contract, and then we'll assess that. We'll understand where he is in terms of his throwing program and routine, and decide the next steps.
Sorry.
Well, yeah, so given that he was a college guy though, and then now is a year past that, like his path to the major leagues, you would think, assuming that all goes well, would be faster than maybe some other college guy, and certainly faster than like a high school guy, right?
I mean, I think that's somewhat logical. I think he's pitched at a high level in college, similar to Jack, and so I think that we'll assess that. We've got a lot to understand as we get him in here and really just determine the next steps with Kumar, with his family, with his agent, and we'll find out what the best fit is. But certainly, we think he's a very developed and polished pitcher.
So Jack threw 110 innings last year, and I think you guys knew you were shutting him down. KUMAR ROCKER probably needs to go pitch, right?
To be determined, Jeff. We're going to see how he's feeling, where the what his routine has been since his last Atlantic League start at the beginning of July, and assess it from there. Those next steps will be determined in the coming week.
I think it's for the long term too, Jeff. Like get him in here and kind of figure. I know he's thrown. He threw 5 starts there in Albany, and he did very well up there. But I think we get around him a little bit and around our people and kind of assess where he's at and figure it out.
So what was this stuff like? I mean, do you have velo?
It was really good stuff. It's 2 plus breaking balls and a plus fastball. So we really believe in the kid. First of all, that chance to we've been around him quite a bit through the years, and especially last year and all the work we did. Working up to last year's draft when we took Jack, but feel really comfortable with the competitor, the drive, the work ethic. This kid, I mean, what he did to come back from what he came back to is special. So we're expecting big things from Kumar.
What's his velocity where it was?
He was anywhere from probably 4 to 8. you know, the times we've seen him. So, you know, it was probably a little bit better than he was in school, but obviously, you know, it's a short window and a short time span. So like CY said too, we got to get around him and kind of figure out the best plan moving forward.
I realize this is a verboten subject to ask, but did your pitching at the big league level this year and the fact that your guys haven't really at the minor league level stepped forward at the top of the minor league system have any impact on your draft philosophy at all?
None whatsoever. We picked what we felt like was the best player for the Texas Rangers in this moment. It had no bearing on any of our performance at the big league level, through the minor leagues, nothing. This is our belief in KUMAR ROCKER, the pitcher, the person, and the fit for the Texas Rangers.
You also feel like you guys' real window of opportunity opens in legitimacy in 2023?
Absolutely. We expect to contend next year, if not the second half of the season.
And could his timeline be quick on that front?
To be determined.
Do you feel like this pick is any more risky than any other top 5 pick?
You know, that's, Max, it's a great question. It's a discussion we've had in our room. I think that there were a group of players that we felt like the risk was less in terms of that. Kumar fit that, and even within that small subset, you know, we tried to assign that. That's what our job is. That's how we assessed it. But Kumar's risk is on the medical. We recognize that, but we are comfortable with what we've seen. This is an elite competitor, an unbelievably tough, strong person who, if you talk to anybody who's been around him, he's just a winner. And you know, we're comfortable with the medical. We're excited about where he is physically and looking forward to a great future with the Texas Rangers.
I think
Go ahead.
I think he pitched 30 some odd innings in indie ball. I know we keep talking about the medicals, but were you guys comfortable with seeing that after, you know, not having seen him for a year?
I think that was a big part of it. I think the medical review, in addition to watching him pitch, is a big part of our comfort level. And that's, you know, at a certain point, roughly less than a year off surgery, we still think that, one, the surgery was successful, but secondly, the best is yet to come.
So was 30 innings enough? I guess it was, but.
Well, I mean, like, it goes back to history we have with him also. I mean, this is not just 30 innings. This is like probably 4 years of going and watching him and evaluating him, getting around the person, knowing him, and that kind of thing. It's not just 30 innings. We were comfortable with what we saw in the 30 innings that could tell us that he's going to be the best version of himself, kind of like he was at Vanderbilt, maybe a better version of that.
When was the last time you saw him personally?
I saw the first outing in Albany. I'm not sure what the date was, Evan.
Chris, did you see him personally?
I did not this year. I saw him last year multiple times, and then we had scouts at every outing.
On the medical side, I know you guys said you're comfortable. I know there's only so much you can say, but like, have you been able to? You haven't been able to get your own set of scans, and wouldn't be able to get that until a physical, correct?
We will conduct our own physical. That said, as we've previously stated, Neil Elitrosh is one of the leading physicians, orthopedic surgeons in the world. Neil submitted 2 really good reports on Kumar's condition, and we certainly valued that and weighed that into our decision.
His agent has called it minor shoulder surgery. Is that fair? It's not like.
I would not, you know, I can't comment on that.
You're not a doctor.
am not versed enough to comment. You know.
But it wasn't labrum. It wasn't anything like that, right?
I would. We don't
Yeah,
need to get
I don't want to get into the semantics of what it was. I think Kumar and Scott can speak to that when the time's right. But yes, that would be a good question.
I've stayed at a few Holiday Inn Expresses, but I ain't no doctor.
How did not having a pick in the second and third round impact your strategy at the top of the draft, or did it?
No, we took the best player we thought was best fit for the Texas Rangers.
Chris, there's all this mystery around with his status, more so than I can think of any other player in the top 15 or 30. Is it warranted? All this curiosity about everything what people aren't saying?
In my mind, it's not. I mean, I think that Kumar has answered the questions. I think certainly he faced a lot of adversity last year with the draft and the way everything transpired. You know, he had a procedure. He's come back from that healthy. I think this is an incredibly hard worker, someone who we're very comfortable in the character, the makeup, the drive, and from seeing him pitch this summer, I think it's just the beginning steps of what's going to be a really successful career, and we're very fortunate that we had this opportunity to pick him.
So last year in the draft, Tim Corbin was one of the analysts, and he talked about Kumar like he was his son. Just when you talk about the makeup, what do you guys have? What do you guys see?
I mean, for me, it's just an elite competitor. You know, a guy that lays it all on the line every time he goes out there with plus stuff. Kind of guys you look for that are gonna like be winners for your big league team, and this is what we see in Kumar. It's a big physical guy that's competitive with really good stuff. It's hard, and there's not many guys that come around like this guy. Physically gifted and competitive as he is, and driven, and it's hard to find a bad thing about Kumar. You know, we did a lot of work on him through the years too.
I think to elaborate on that, not only as Kip described a winner, but somebody that brings a competitive intensity, not only between the lines, but in everything he does, that elevates his teammates. And that's something that's really special. And I think that's what, when Tim Corbin talks about him being close to a son, I think that's what comes out, is that this is an unbelievably caring person who pushes his teammates to greatness and himself as well. And that's what we're excited to get.
Couple more, because we gotta get Rocker on the phone.
See, right, and I know this is a completely crazy question, I can't believe I'm asking it, but I mean, because the pick, I think, has hit everybody is a little bit surprised. I just wanna make sure that nothing crazy is gonna happen, like, you wouldn't consider bringing this guy straight to the big leagues after you sign him, right?
No,
I mean, we
there's
can rule that
zero
out.
consideration for that.
Okay.
And that was the conversation that we never discussed, and it will not be. We'll make sure that we do what is right for Kumar Rocker's development in our player development system, and he earns his way to the big leagues in time.
I appreciate you answering that without hitting me in the face.
Anything else?
So until the cameras are off, Evan.
You can hit me in the face.
Good?
You can always
Yep.
hit me in the
Thanks.
face.